On the count of three, two, one. Hello, everybody, and happy Friday. My
Happy
name's Glen
Friday.
Benjamin, and I've got my co-conspirator here, David. David, why don't you do your own intro?
Good morning. I'm David Moadab with Solution Squad. Um, do we do intros first? Yeah, let's do intros
Yeah,
first.
let's do.
So I'm
But
David
I
with
want you.
Solution.
I want people to know you because people know
Beautiful.
me, right? But unfortunately, I'm more on America's Most Wanted. You're pretty straight and narrow as a tech guy. So go.
I am on America's Least Wanted. I'm David with Solution Squad. We're a small managed IT services company, and that small is the key to how we operate. We specialize in dealing with small businesses instead of the bigger boys. So everything is a small personal relationship. We basically become part of a small businesses company, a small business owner's company, and we manage everything IT related for them. Flip side of the yep, I'm also a
I
dad of two
Yeah, and I'm a
amazing
grandpa.
children.
There you go.
And on the flip side of the fence, we got Glenn. Go for it.
And Glen Benjamin, I am the community account director, which really means community outreach for another managed service provider called Land Infotech. It's on the shirts in the background. David's background, you can see, also very nicely done. I am involved with many communities within South Florida, many organizations, nonprofits, small businesses as well. So this is where David and I play off each other real nice. David is definitely more technical than I am. I just kind of fake my way through it. I do a reasonably good job at it, and we're part of multiple chambers within the area: Hollywood, Fort Lauderdale, and Pompano. And I'm on several nonprofit boards, mostly as an advisor, and do a lot of speaking at Broward schools as well as other tech schools and colleges, trying to help young adults with career pathing. Because some of the stuff we're going to talk about today, we can't tell you where this is going to be a year, 2 or 3, 5 or 10 years. So we really want to get our youngsters more involved, at least understanding tech. I'm not trying to turn them into techies, but really they've got to understand where all of this is going. How's that for an intro, Dave?
That is an amazing intro. I love it. And that actually brings me to where we ended up meeting. I used to actually follow you on social media because you're everywhere. I was very apprehensive. I don't know if you remember, this was almost a year ago. I came to the chamber thing and walked up to you all mousy and stuff, thinking you're this guy who's going to just ignore me. And here we are, almost a year later, doing a podcast together because you weren't that guy. You're actually a very nice guy, Glenn. So we came to
Text
the conclusion of bringing tech to the average Joe because honestly, it's complicated. And if you're not in this field and if you're running a small business, you don't know what's up. So that's here we are.
Yep. Yeah, we met, and we can say publicly at the Hollywood Chamber. You're a Hollywood resident. I'm further north. I'm up in Coconut Creek, but again, I'm all over the place, and it works really well for me. Managing time is very important, believe me. But we met at the chamber, and I was running, or I am running, we're running with you now, as co-chairs of the tech committee in the Hollywood Chamber. Within the Hollywood Chamber, I'm giving them a plug as well. I'm also co-chair of the ambassador team. So come talk to us. Come talk to me if you want to get more involved with the chamber. All right, end of that conversation. And what Dave and I are planning on doing on a regular basis, once, maybe twice a month, is doing these kind of podcasts. We're out in the community. Again, we kind of deal with different areas inside of small businesses, but it's not important what we're doing, but how we're trying to educate everybody. So we've done this within the chamber. Now we're moving it out. This will be unfiltered, and I may say a bad word or two, so I'll apologize in advance. Shit, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to say that, but I think that'll get bleeped out when
I
the
really
note
wonder how the
taker
captions will treat that.
shit, 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 shit. Let's see what happens. Let's
Oh,
see
we're
what.
going there pretty
Oh, it
quick.
does work. Never mind. I'm going to leave it in anyway. So we're unfiltered, and the reason being, this is who we are. This is what we do. All right, David. Did you have a couple things you wanted to lead with as far as?
I was just going to start going through the headlines and use that as a discussion point on what's up, what's going on, and what people should be aware of. Things are crazy out there, and unless you're in our little bubble, I don't think most business owners get exposed to that and understand what's really going on. They get scared of the headlines, but they really don't get to see what's underneath it and what that all actually means.
Before you go, we have something occurring October 14th. I think we should lead with that.
We should probably lead with that. Absolutely.
Go for it.
Um, so October 14th, we're doing a special event at the Chamber.
No, hold that thought. Hold
Right.
on. No,
Which
no,
one's
no.
October 14th?
No, Microsoft has that big event.
Oh, that big event you're talking about. You totally threw me off. Well, it's not that big a deal, except if you're running Windows 10, your Windows 10 becomes, instead of your friend, not so much your friend anymore. Microsoft is basically stopping all support on Windows 10. Now, there's ways to get around it if you're a specific type of business, if you have separate contracts, stuff like that. But for the average Joe, if you're running Windows 10, October 15th, you're no longer supported. That means if they find some sort of vulnerability, that is not going to be patched and it's not going to be supported. So if you are not dealing with an IT support company right now, you need to be making those phone calls and getting them in there to help you upgrade. Or if you're going to do it yourself, pick this weekend to start doing it because there's a lot of requirements. If you're running older hardware, you're not just going to be able to upgrade. So you need to order new computers and everyone's making the same rush. So it's a problem if you haven't dealt with it.
And problem, and David is more technical than I am. I just fake it really well. What could be some of the problems, David?
So imagine a doctor discovers a new virus, right? So when that new virus comes, they want to protect people from that virus. So they come out with the antidote, with the vaccine, with whatever it is to fix the virus, right? Well, Microsoft does the same thing when it comes to the IT side of things. When it comes to vulnerabilities in their software, they release patches, which we regularly apply to protect that environment. Well, their duty ends October 14th, meaning we've been at this for 10 years with Windows 10. We're no longer responsible for it unless you're paying us extra for it, and that's it. So, if you want your systems to continue to be secured, if you want to stay inoculated and get those virus patches, virus vaccines, you need to be on Windows 11 where we can keep you updated.
And in some cases, you might be able to upgrade for free to Windows 11.
Absolutely.
Do you want to tell people how to do it? Because I can do it, and I'm a lot shorter than you are.
I'll let you tell people how to do it because that's what we do for small businesses. It is free, but you got to know what you're doing because there's a
Right,
lot of restrictions to it.
right.
There's TPM requirements, there's CPU requirements. TPM is a chip on the computer that protects your security. So Windows 10 isn't as secure as Windows 11. Windows 11 is a lot more secure, works with passkey. In order for it to do that, you have to have a TPM chip. If you have an older computer, not going to work. Kind of how I feel when I walk into a young crowd. I'm older, I don't exactly fit in.
Can I soften this a little bit?
Absolutely.
Okay. David likes to throw out all these acronyms. I'm not going to. Go to your Windows Start key, go to Settings, and click on Windows Update. And you should have a pop-up that says, as it runs, that you can upgrade to Windows 11. Go ahead and do it. It'll probably take you 2 or 3 hours. So do it over the weekend, like David just said, and see if it'll work. If it does not work, you're going to have a really bad day on October 14th and 15th. So you're going to have to start looking at either trying to upgrade the memory processor, and that's David's cup of tea. More likely you're going to wind up getting a new PC that meets all these requirements. So get ready, call one of us, and we'll put our contact info up here later, or run to Best Buy. Go somewhere and start buying a computer. If it's just a onesie twosie, if you have a fleet of computers, Windows 10. Okay, well, David is giving.
Time out.
Yeah,
So I got to
if
call out advice that's not going to work for small business owners, which is our target demographic here.
yeah, go for it.
Don't go to Best Buy and buy a computer. Best Buy is going to sell you a Windows Home computer, not Windows Pro computer. First of all, those computers are not meant to be on 24/7, which in a business environment you have to have. Also, they're not licensed for business environments, so they can't be secured properly. So, if you're going to go to Best Buy last minute, expect to pay even more because you're going to end up having to pay to upgrade that computer to Windows Pro. Food for thought. Again, it comes down to pre-planning and having everything in place. If you're working with an IT services company, you've already been warned about this. They've been going through stuff and working with you and making a list of what needs upgraded and working with you to get those done. If you haven't done so, you need to start now because doing it on your own may not necessarily work out. Now, if you're a consumer, you're not upgrading the PC or you're upgrading the PC, but as a consumer, have at it. Now's the time.
Right. And it's just like the doctor tells you you need to do something, you don't do it, and then you buy insurance after something goes wrong. Doesn't work that way. You've got
Very good
to,
point.
and again, and I don't even talk about this publicly. My real title is a certified business resiliency manager. I deal with business continuity, uh, trying to create plans, continuity plans. I couldn't think of it. So you've got to if you've got to plan, because if you fail to plan, that means you plan to fail, and you don't want this happening middle October. You're really going to suffer. So do something now. You can try ordering online with computers or buy it from David. We'll sell it, but we got tariffs that we're dealing with. Prices have gone up. There's
Yeah.
nothing we can do about that right now. But
And supply issues.
well,
Dell,
absolutely.
we work almost exclusively with Dell, and they keep canceling orders on us because they don't have it. So order goes in, they cancel. Order goes in, they cancel. Something else to be aware of. We mentioned you mentioned insurance, and that's a big one. If you get a cyber incident, meaning October 15th, you get hacked, your cyber insurance company is not going to cover you. You know why? You are running unsupported software. So if you're still on Windows 10 and October 15th comes around and you get hacked, your cyber insurance company has no liability to you because you were not maintaining and keeping up your systems as you said you would when you signed up for that service. So that's a very key thing to keep in mind as a small business owner as well.
And we're talking best practices, boys and girls. So these are the things that you've really got to be aware of. If not, you'll get a hold of us. But you've really got to plan for all this out. And really, we're what, 3 weeks away from that date, and you better start working on it today. Don't even wait for the weekend. We're
Yeah.
recording this on a Friday, so
Yeah,
try to
at
get
this
to it.
point, you're kind of missing the boat already.
Right.
It's pulled off the dock. You're just running as fast as you can, trying to jump on there. Hopefully, you make it. If not, we'll laugh at you in the water.
Okay. Let's go to the next topic, David, because that was so exciting. We better have something even better next. Go for it.
Ooh, what could get better than that? You want to deal with the European flight networks going offline because they got hacked, or we want to talk about AI going crazy on people, or the worms that are coming out? I think we should go with the worms. That's something a lot of people got affected without even knowing. What do you think?
Yeah. I think you should go after worms because you're kind of a squirrely guy, so go for it.
I do keep scrolling. So
Yeah.
let's explain what a computer worm is. This goes back to way in the initial beginning of the internet where somebody would implant a piece of programming on somebody else's computer, and from there it would go to other people's computer and spread and spread and spread like worms, just spreading out. Well, cybersecurity became better. People became more resilient, antivirus, this, that, that. So if you're a bad guy, how do you go after multiple crazy businesses who are all pretty well protected? They're running cybersecurity software and bypass all that. Well, first came these kinds of worms things. It's called a supply chain attack. Instead of attacking the individual, you go after where they get their information from. The first instance I remember was a company called uh, SolarWinds. Sorry, been a while. They got hacked because their software was in use in a lot of different places, including the government. All those other places got hacked. So when they went to update from SolarWinds, they got the update. It came down. Everybody was vulnerable. So the worms spread that way. Well, what's happening now is a program called NPM. NPM is a kind of like a software repository for people to use. Let's say I write a program that I want people to use. A developer can use a piece of my program in their software. Well, when I make updates, they download it, put it in their software, and the users that are using them for their cybersecurity get that update. Well, that's where this one happened. People went after NPM, infected NPM, it got into the cybersecurity software companies and got rolled out to people. Moral of the story here is no matter how safe you think you are, you're not. And that's where paying attention and having disaster recovery in place. So when something crazy like this does happen, you know what to do and who to reach out for. So that
So
was the
let me,
one story.
yeah, so let me just interpret. There's a lot of stuff that you all don't understand. This is our job, not yours. So
Yeah.
come talk to us about that. So keep it at that level, because even I look at you going, David, that's a lot of stuff you're talking about.
So my problem is I live in the technical side of this, right? That's been my entire career on the technical side. Yes, I'm the customer service guy. Yes, I've done retail. Yes, I've done front end. But at the end of the day, I live so much in the technical that my brain doesn't switch to the I guess non-acronym world.
Right.
I try really hard, but that usually comes across better on the
Yeah.
help desk response than live.
Yeah. Just we got to know our audience, and my audience will go, Glenn, what the fuck are you saying? So, and again, this is unfiltered, you know.
This is
We're
definitely unfiltered, and as our first run, I think we're doing really good so far, and
yeah,
I've managed
yeah,
not to say a lot of shit, so that's good.
that's good. And I've dropped an F-bomb already, so amazing.
I didn't even catch that.
You didn't? Okay, good. Well,
Yeah.
you'll watch the replay later, and we'll sign autographs in the lobby after we're done.
Digital autographs, absolutely.
Go ahead, give us another one. We're done with worms.
The other, it's funny. I just came across a headline, and I got a buddy of mine, Brian, who runs a massive MSP on the West Coast, and one of his favorite things is a thing called tech debt. Have you ever heard of tech debt?
Nope.
So any company that has been doing anything technical, that's been in business for any amount of time, has what's called tech debt. Tech debt is Windows 10 is a good example of that, right? So you are running a company with 30 employees. That means you have 30 workstations, but those 30 workstations are outdated and not updatable because they're outdated. Well, that's considered tech debt because that's debt you're going to have to pay off and upgrade your systems to bring them to a current event. A lot of companies don't even realize they have tech debt. Both vendors that we work with and our own people that we don't realize we have that. I need to spend this amount of money to upgrade this and this system. Well, that's tech debt. You haven't paid it off yet. It's technology that you're indebted to that you need to pay off to get upgraded to work. So as a business owner, they need to be cognizant of that and realize it. And now, on average, it could cost a small business as much as 6 figures because they keep pushing it off so much that it's gone so high that people have ignored their tech debt that is becoming a problem for all sizes business owners. So that was something that popped up on my screen that I wanted to address. If you're running a company, you're like, my computers are slow. I haven't touched my network in 10 years. You're putting yourself at risk because that's just debt you're pushing down a road and it's just going to get more and more expensive to deal with. And while you're doing that, it's putting you at risk. It's putting your data, your integrity, and your entire business at risk.
Fear of God. I really like this. This is good. Yeah. But is there any difference between doing that for your car and your infrastructure? You got to keep your car up to date. You got to bring it in for checkups. You bring it to a professional, hopefully, and it could be a local car mechanic. Those are fine too. But just like anything else, we're all responsible for that are critical to allowing us to do business. Bring it to a professional. And that's kind of my shtick. I've got a lot of people back in my office that are much smarter, taller, thinner, with more hair than I have, and they do a much better job. My job is just to literally be the evangelist for our company and get you to our tech help desk to do this kind of stuff. And we'll do the evaluations, we'll scan your stuff, and if you're going to let it kind of sit and not keep things updated, we'll keep a check mark, keep a list, and we'll say, we told you this a year or two ago. And if you're going to address it now, it might be too late. You might have to do a complete forklift or overhaul. Again, my language is different than David's. He is much smarter, and he also has more hair, and he's taller than me. So I'll let him get away with it.
You notice a
You're
lot of
taller than
interesting
me.
things. I never noticed that.
I think you're
Y-
taller.
You
Well, you
said
have hair, and that
something.
helps. Yes.
Oh, not for much longer, but you said, as my son says, I'm gaining forehead. Um, you said something that's really important for business owners. And as a small business owner, I've been at this for 20 years in this company, and we're a small business. And that's kind of by design because we're boutique, right? You have to understand where your knowledge ends and where you need to tap in someone else to help you with that. And the longer we refuse to accept that as a small business owner, because you think, hey, you know what? I'll go every weekend and I'll update all the computers myself and keep them, keep the antivirus running and everything else. You're shooting yourself in the leg. That's where you should be tapping someone else in to come help you. You're good at your business. You're not good at cybersecurity. You're not good at IT. Blind spots like Windows 10 will come at you without you realizing it because nobody's been calling you to tell you that because you're the guy who's supposed to keep up with it. But if you're a doctor, you're keeping up with medical stuff, not IT stuff. If you're an engineer, you're getting the latest code, not computer code. So always have a professional that helps you with these kinds of things if your business relies on cybersecurity and IT. If you're a mom and pop who has a single computer from 1902 that's still sitting in the back running a point of sale system not connected to the internet, okay, you could take a breath, take the weekend off. You did good. You haven't upgraded in so long it became obsolete. Nobody's going after it. But if you're running a modern business, you need to keep your cybersecurity and your infrastructure updated. Otherwise, a bad guy can come hack you that quickly. Glenn, you've seen me use a certain device that I'm not going to name names, but it's one of my favorite things to do cyber education, and it just happens to be I have my little signs with me. You've seen this guy before. You
Yes,
weren't a
I
big fan
have.
of it.
He scares the hell out of me, folks.
So a guy like me could show up with a really small device, sit outside your office and put up something like this and have all your staff use the free Wi-Fi that I'm running, that I'm listening to. So if your infrastructure is not set up right, how are you protected for something as simple as that? A stranger coming in and just spoofing your whole network. That's where dealing with someone who, guys like us, comes in. So I
It,
feel
it,
like I took that on a whole sales pitch. I don't mean to do fear, uncertainty, and doubt, but at the end of the day, business owners need to realize it's a wake up call. And now, like you said, that Windows 10 thing is a huge catalyst on that of waking people up. Hey, the end is coming. You got to upgrade.
yep. Otherwise, just like your car, it won't work. If you don't put oil in your car on a regular basis and it runs out of oil, what's going to happen? You're going to burn the
Eventually,
engine and you're going to spend five figures to replace your car. Put the regular maintenance in. That's what David and I do. Uh, again, we're doing the same thing. We just kind of have a Venn diagram where we kind of overlap. But come to one of us, both of us, it doesn't matter. We're good friends, and not want to pick on it. Do we want to keep going down the cybersecurity path? What do you think?
I'm open to anything. I think we're doing pretty good. I
I,
think
I
we have maybe half the people that started listening to us still awake, so we're good. I'm hoping we got
yeah,
half of them awake.
yeah. I see my parole officer online. He's following this, so I got to make sure that we're doing a good job here. So let's just go with cyber. And again, I'm not as technical. I am more of your evangelist here. Where this used when I started with the company, I've been with our company, Glen and David, 6 years. You've been around 20 years as Solution Squad, David,
Yep.
right?
As Solution Squad, and much longer before that. Holy mother God. I started my first IT business in 1995 at high school. That's how geeky I am and how far back I go. I had a pager in high school.
I had a pager, yes, many many moons ago. And by the way, we're old, so if you haven't figured that out, so we've been through a lot of these cycles. But as we talk about the cybersecurity, there's no difference as we're talking to Windows 10 and transitioning to cyber. Getting the calls just about every day or every other day have an act. And I'll ask, did you do what we told you? No. Did you look at the agreement we gave you where we would be responsible, David, his company, Land Infotech on ours, and we would take care of it for you? If not, you're on your own, basically. And we'll try to help, but that becomes a time and material. You don't want to know what our costs could be versus us managing it right up front. And we're getting all kinds of crazy things, and we're seeing
I
a
gotta
lot.
interrupt. Wait. I'm so sorry to interrupt, but there's
No,
something you're
you're
missing
not.
in your calculation there. That time and material you're talking about
Yeah.
doesn't calculate how much business they're gonna lose while they wait for us to respond and how stupid they're gonna look to their clients.
You're
But
stealing my thunder. You know that.
but you didn't cover that, and it's a big deal. But keep going. I'm sorry. It just triggered me.
Well, and again, I have this resiliency title, which is all about keeping your business running, regardless of an incident. It does not have to be cybersecurity. It could be a multitude of things, including utilities. It could be a neighbor of yours or above you left the water on overnight and water dripped all over your equipment. And if you don't have a backup, again, you're going to have a really bad day. So things like that, that's what we think about. And that's where a managed service provider, that's the only pitch you're going to really hear from me. What we all do is we'll take care of it. This is what we do. And we'll put software on your equipment. We can manage, monitor, get in, do that type of stuff. In fact, if you touch anything, we'll call you and say, stop touching it. Get away from it, right? This is not your job. This is our job. And we're both companies will do assessments, see what you have, do scans, do all that. But this is what a managed service provider is. I spend 30 to 60 minutes a day reading as to what's going on. And a lot of it is AI, which we haven't touched yet. But to keep up with what's going on is impossible for us, uh, the average consumer without an IT department. Again, we're going after small type businesses. That's who we call on that can't afford their own IT. Generally, don't. They could have somebody, but this is what our company does. And by the way, if you have an IT guy that doesn't know what to do, have him call us. We'll be your help desk. That's fine. I'm not trying to unplug anybody here because there's no way the average consumer or business person can keep up and run their regular business. So, and again, that's as detailed as I get, David. Just be careful with acronyms. Go. If you want to add to that.
You said something interesting, which was if you have an existing IT guy, people become apprehensive about calling another IT company because I have my guy who I've had for 35 years, who's still running that 35-year-old software in the back for me because I've had the same guy for 35 years, who has not learned anything new in the last 35 years. And that's what makes us a little bit different than the average, honestly, Glenn, than the average MSP as well, because you and I, both our companies work modern. We keep up with things. You spend that hour a day learning. I get about 400 emails a day just on subscription things of headlines that's going on from the FBI, from the government, from CISA, from this, from that, from smaller companies. All that information comes in. And my job as the IT director for all these other companies is to keep up with that. So in house IT a lot of times fails at that. And this is a good segment of letting business owners know that, hey, even if you have in-house IT, both our companies can augment in-house IT. So, Joe who's working in your company who, when your computer doesn't boot up, comes and pushes a button for you, can still do that, but we'll help Joe be educated and put all the right tools in place. So Joe, your in-house IT guy, can do their job properly instead of running outdated information because their job doesn't require them to. They're just really your hands-on guy. Um, so good segue of keeping your IT updated at all times, no matter what size business you're running.
Okay. All right, let's move past cybersecurity. I think we'll cover probably one or two more topics before they throw us off here.
You want to
Uh,
touch? You want to touch on your favorite four-letter word?
my favorite four-letter word is AI. And the reason I say four letters is if you don't do it right, if you operationalize it inside of your confines, your infrastructure, I'm not as technical as David, but if you do this without having a plan, have I said plan before? Yeah, you got to have a plan. You got to be able to tell us what you're going to use it for. And what we're also going to sit down and do with you is an assessment and make sure you have an acceptable use policy. That's the only acronym I'm throwing at you, an AUP, telling us what people can and cannot do. I speak at schools. I mentioned earlier, the other day, I was at Sheridan Tech down in Hollywood, and we're having this same exact conversation because they're just giving it to the teachers now. As we know, Gen AI, ChatGPT came out at the end of 2020. So we're now approaching 2022, sorry. We're approaching 3 years. So the
Has it been
schools
that
that
long?
it's been that long. So another couple of months will be, 3 years. The kids in Broward schools, because I do a lot of work in there, don't have AI yet. They've not used it the way it should be taught. And I'm going to come up with 5 pillars. It's got to be safe and secure. It's got to be legal, ethical, moral. And I was at Sheridan Tech. I met some students and parents. Parents were there, and I had to really ask this kind of stuff while David coughs, and we'll keep going. But do you all understand what legal, ethical, moral means? And the kids are looking at me going, and then the parents were sitting right there. I'm like, do you all get what I'm saying? They go, yeah, yeah, we need this. They don't have it yet. Broward schools just got, back at the beginning of summer, May, June, a grant from Microsoft, the largest grant Microsoft has ever done, of $9 million to implement what's called Microsoft Copilot. I'm not pitching here, but this is what Microsoft offers. And they're giving it free to Broward schools. They don't even have deployment dates yet. I was there the other day. I know teachers are starting to get this. It's going to take them months, if not a year. So by the time they're teaching it to students, they're 4 years behind. That's the reality. And these students could be 2 or 3 years from going into the workforce. And where this all is leading to, this is about as much as I'll talk here, is these youngsters are going to be going to a workforce. They don't understand how to properly use AI. We care about the safe and secure part. That's what David and I do, safe and secure, whatever you're doing. Legal, ethical, moral is a whole other conversation, and they're not ready for this. And we're seeing companies, they're not laying people off. Let me be clear, this is not cutting everybody, but they're going to start moving to different types of jobs. So when I'm in front of the students, and I'm in front of middle schoolers, high school, tech school, I'm an academic advisor with Broward Tech Schools, and colleges. Where's this all going? I can't tell you. But I can tell you, you better start learning STEAM. STEM, most people call it STEM, but STEAM with the arts, because arts is going to have real problems soon, especially if you're a songwriter. Songwriting is going just like that, because you got websites that can create songs in seconds. And then you wonder, do I really want to spend my time? I agree that it's not perfect, those songs, but some of them are acceptable. Anyhow, so we've got to get our young adults up to speed because they're walking into the workforce. I do speak about intern programs and apprenticeship programs and finally scholarships that are all available, especially in cybersecurity, which we've kind of talked about, and we'll save this for another episode. But we got to get young people up to speed because AI, if used wrong, is vicious. And our enemies on the other side of the world are using it against us. And I do speak at senior events, 60, 70, 80-year-olds that trust everything. And I'm the guy on stage, and I warn them, I'm going to talk zero trust. And you cannot believe the phone calls. You can't believe the messages you get, whether it's text or email. And especially if it sounds like a famous actor by the name of Morgan Freeman. I'll play a clip of him as a fake Morgan Freeman. And I've had a couple of women say, he called me last week and I gave him $1,000. So, we've got to do a better job, but seniors especially who trust everything, didn't lock their doors at night. I beg when Broward Sheriff brings me in to talk to them, bring your caregivers. They'll understand, hopefully, mostly what I'm talking about. So that's the shift. Our youngsters are involved. We've got to get them ready. What's your experience with AI, David? Go for it now.
One real quick tip with the elderly thing you're talking about and families and all the AI spoofing that's going on. Have a family keyword, have a family secret word that you have. So when little Billy calls you and says, "Hey, I'm stuck here and I need a bailout and this and that." Okay, Billy, what's our family keyword? Oh, that's our passcode. Beautiful. You're actually Billy, you're not AI spoofing anything. Tell it to grandma, tell it to the whole family. AI. Man, the first and biggest thing I see with AI that people just don't realize is if it's free, your data is the payment. If you're running a management company and you have your Excel spreadsheet with everyone's information and you want to throw it in there and have it do a calculation of how many people you have, you just give your whole client list. You give it your whole tenant list, whatever list you want to call it. And if you're using the free version, that just went into the cloud for it to learn from and be indexed. Index means Google can now go find it. So, goes back to what Glenn said. You have to have a policy on how you use AI. If people in your company are using ChatGPT, make sure they have a GPT account. If they're using Copilot, make sure they have proper Copilot licensing. If they're using China's DeepSeek, make sure you fire them and never talk to them again because they're giving away your company data. But
Yeah.
AI has become this convenience that everybody is adopting, but they're not adopting. They're just throwing their stuff at it and thinking, oh, it's all safe, but it's not. Your data is the payment. So be cautious where you put your data, what you put out there, and when in doubt, ask instead of doing. Doing is what leads to trouble. This goes back to how we used to teach people about detecting malicious emails and stuff. When in doubt, ask us as a help desk. Same with AI. When in doubt, ask, hey, should I be using this? Hey, this system is giving me this for free, but I could register and get that. Should I or not? Goes back to having that technical resource that you have at your fingertips.
I will give you two examples. I can't name anybody, obviously. I know of two people that wrote books recently. Like, great, marvelous. I met them at an event. We'll just leave it there. And I said, how'd you do it? Oh, I used AI. Great. Which one? ChatGPT. Great. Which ChatGPT? And right away, the faces are going, what do you mean? I said, there's about 15 that OpenAI has come out with. Which one did you use? I go, we don't know. Okay, did you pay for it? No. And just like David said, this stuff leaks out. And by the way, if you have a spreadsheet on your computer, because you told your computer using GPT or Copilot or whatever, hey, give me a year over year summary, give me some financials, show me my largest fundraiser or whatever, and the margin, and it produces that report, and you just stick it in a OneDrive, not secure, and somebody gets to that, those are your crown jewels. So you don't want to leave that stuff exposed. Anyhow, with the two ladies, I identified them as ladies.
Oh,
All right, but that's okay. I'm not going to go further. I said, did you pay for it? They said no. I said, I want, and I explained the whole leaking conversation. I said, now I want you to Google the books you wrote and see if they're out there. It identified the name of the book, the author, where they live, their personal information, because they were putting it in there to write the book. Here's the big problem, though, David. And if I have any attorneys here, feel free to hit us up. They're not going to, because it's already leaked, they're not going to get a trademark. They're not going to get a copyright unless they pay an attorney 5, 6 figures, because this is now public information. They didn't think of that. And by the way, if you use AI to ask, how do I do this securely? AI will generally be right. Come to one of us, David, Glenn, doesn't matter, and talk to us. What's the best way to do it? I mean, this is like the classic example. Their stuff is now out there. They can't get a copyright for the book.
and they can't sell it because it's freely available. By the way, you said something about AI come to us and everything else. You have to know AI lies to you. AI will tell you what you tell it. So if I say the sky is blue today and tomorrow it's going to be black, AI could very well come back with, yeah, I agree with you. It could be black tomorrow. There's a whole thing that goes on around that, articles about it and everything. But the moral of the story is if you're asking AI about your tech and high-end cybersecurity stuff, trying to get AI to be your IT guy, it's going to tell you what you want to hear, not necessarily the right answers. I'm an IT guy, okay? I did a site survey at a client and I came across a piece of hardware I didn't recognize. So instead of Googling it, reverse searching and everything else, I just threw it at GPT. I was like, hey, GPT, what is this? GPT came back with paid account, secure, safe, memory off. GPT came back with this is some MiFi, whatever, whatever. And then I went to a group of peers I work with and I said, guys, do you any of you recognize this? And they all recognize this as an entirely different thing. I had my people that I go to get that information verified. Every business owner needs that when they're using GPT for anything, whether it's cyber, whether it's technical, whether it's medical, I don't care what it is. AI is not the final definitive answer. Most people think it is. They rely on it for that, but you always have to have that critical thinking, which is our favorite two word, to make sure that, things are done properly and the answers you're getting actually make sense and are proper. They're correct, not what AI told you because you wanted to hear.
So again, this is not fear of God. We're not trying to scare you. We're trying to inform, educate, entertain a little
This is
about,
unfiltered. We tell you how it is. If you don't
yeah,
like it, you don't got to tune in. But look, most
yeah,
IT guys put on the show of, oh, come work with our company, blah, blah. We'll fix everything. The world is ending if you don't work with it. The world's not going to end. Listen, I remember when I was putting out alerts about Windows 7. If you don't do this today, oh, tomorrow it's ending. I literally had a sign like the world is ending. The world didn't end. But a lot of companies did get hacked over the years because they didn't follow the standard processes, which they should have. And that's
right.
what we're here to simplify tech for average Joes.
By the way, I know people that are running Windows 7 and
I
they
do
say
too.
it's secure. And hey, I remember XP and I started, I think it was Windows 3.1, the first OS that I used. I worked for a company that gave us laptops, and I'm going back late 80s, so we're just about 40 years ago. And oh, this is the next best thing. So they gave you the bag, the computer, and the gear was like 27 pounds. I'm like, I took it home one time, brought it back to the office. I'm never carrying this again. It's giving me pain in my shoulder and my back. But more importantly, it was using a modem 28.8. And yeah, we're old enough to live through that, but I don't want to share that with anybody. We're
Yeah,
sitting
we've
here.
been through a lot. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think we're hitting it. Um,
yeah.
yeah.
We're hitting about 40 minutes here, David. Do you think we've alerted people well enough? And
I think it's a good first soft start for our new podcast.
mhm,
God willing, we're going to keep doing this. I think right now we're looking at about once a month. We'll of course post on social media how more frequently we do it. There is the website which we're working on. Something big is coming soon is all it says right now. But if they get
mhm.
to go to getbehindthescreens.com. So getbehindthescreens.com. We'll have all the show information there, the podcast, how they can follow us and everything else. We'll hopefully have this up by our next episode, so it's fully, populated
Yeah.
and stuff. Well,
And by the way, Dave and I figured we'd do this like 20 minutes, just get started, test everything. And we're sitting at 43 minutes right now. I did not expect that we could find anything interesting because he and I are not interesting. The topics better be the content because neither one of us are worth the show with this face. Forget it. If you want to
yeah,
put Brad Pitt up here, I'm fine. It's okay. I'll superimpose it.
we
And
both
AI
have a
will
face for
do it.
radio.
I have face for radio. So final thoughts, David. I'll let you go first.
Final thoughts are honestly, this is what I preach all the time. Don't be greedy. You know, I keep saying this, but this is a fact. I run a small, lean business. So yes, I cut corners where possible, but there's corners you cut that will affect your business negatively, and there's ones you cut that will affect your bottom line positively. Make sure you're doing the bottom line one without affecting your business negatively. And never, ever take a risk on cybersecurity. We live in a world where if you are a business, you rely on cybersecurity. I don't care if you're a plumber, your invoices, your emails, that's all cybersecurity. I don't care if you're a goat herder. You're getting paid somehow, and it's probably not cash. So cybersecurity comes into play. Your bank account that you put that cash in comes into play. So safety first. Pay attention to cybersecurity. It's not just some scary term. It's a reality of life today. And if you're not dealing with it in your business, well, you're going to be dealing with a lot of trouble at some point. Just like if you don't take your vaccines, if you don't take your shots, if you don't maintain your car, you're going to get in trouble one day. Your car could run without oil for 10,000 miles, or it could blow a gasket next week. You don't know that. So how much risk are you willing to take with your future or your business? That's my giveaway.
Right. And mine is talk to professionals in any endeavor, any type of profession. Get the right people to help you. David and I honestly just want to help. We're both out there trying to make sure everybody's doing the right thing. I do not want to see any of you get hacked for such a hard, large ransom that you can't afford it, and we lose you as a business. And we are seeing this happen. Unfortunately, it's very critical. I don't want to lose a member for a chamber. I don't want to lose a customer. I don't want to lose you in the community because you can't afford to pay for something that if you had worked with us prior and had the right level of cyber insurance, you'd still be around. Again, this is not a fear of God conversation. It is literally, the way I'm wired, the way I was trained, which is resiliency and having a plan. Failing to plan, right? Failing to plan means you plan to fail, and that's, I was going to say backwards. So, but this is important, and the jokes end here. You are welcome to reach out. My contact info is on that little QR code that I'm pointing to here. Go gbenjamin@landinfotech.com is generally the best way to reach me. Landinfotech.com. David, give them your contact info.
So my company is Solutions Squad, as you could see here. It's probably backwards. I don't know. It might be. Moral of the story is just Google Solution Squad and you'll get a hold of me. My company is small enough that when you reach out to Solution Squad, you'll end up talking to me somewhere in the process. So that's my specialty, that one-on-one personal service. Just Google Solutions Squad and you could find me and reach out.
Well, if you're going to go that far, just go solutionsquad.com. Make it simple. David likes to add steps. I don't know why. Just solutionsquad.com. And is it David at solutionsquad?
David at solutionsquad.com is perfect, indeed.
Although he generally goes as Dave, so it's okay. But I'll let him determine it.
I'm staying professional, with the whole David thing.
Yeah, Dave. Well, and again, you also go as Mo sometimes. And
that's my alter ego on the personal side, yeah.
Right, and again, but he and I are doing the work of three people. That's Mo, Larry, and Curly. Guess which one I am, right? Well, that's right. All right, folks, we appreciate your time. Again, reach out. If you have initiatives you want us to talk about for next month, we'd be happy to do so. And have a great and safe weekend.
We did neglect something. Sorry. We forgot to mention something. One of our goals, by the way, is to have other people on the show that could bring value to the community. So if you're one of those people, reach out to us as well. If you're a lawyer who's very technical and does tech work, so we can blend in and work on that, explain to people the legal aspects of not dealing with tech in your business, give us a call. Reach out to us because we'd love to have you on this thing. The point of this thing is to bring tech to the average Joe. Get over those fears, make them understand what's required, and help them adopt technology. So if you know better than us, please, we have no ego. Come, help us get the message out to people and help people. I know I deviated from our sign off, but kind of forgot that detail about the show. So I wanted to throw it in there.
Let's collaborate. Let's work on a safe and secure world. And happy to talk to you, David at solutionsquad.com, gbenjamin@landinfotech.com. That's my QR code. By the way, if you can't find me, that means you're not trying on everything. So
yeah, that's kind of impossible not to find you.
Yeah, including America's Most Wanted. I'm number 4 this week. I'm moving up, man. I'm so proud and happy. Yeah.
Ooh,
yeah, exactly. Fancy. All right. Everybody, thanks again for watching. Get a hold of us, give us topics, and we'll see you somewhere, somehow, some way. Peace out.
Stay tuned. Getbehindthescreens.com. That's where we'll let them know. Sorry if we bored you guys. Have a great weekend.